when she was detained at the initial bail hearing, I was like, seriously?
Because it's about whether or not you're a threat to the public in a meaningful way.
It's more than that.
Prior to any conviction.
Breaching court orders is a bad thing, but we have a presumption of innocence. So even though there's a breach, the presumption of innocence still applies. And you have to look at risk factors. So you look at, are they going to show up to court? Are they going to breach again? And the seriousness and the strength of the Crown. The strength of the Crown's case. In any event, she's charged with mischief, counseling to commit mischief, and intimidation, and a couple other things. Maximum penalty for mischief is 2 years less a day. Intimidation, I think 5 years. So the whole idea of detaining her in custody, I thought, was a complete overreach by the court system and by government. I'm not saying that what happened in Ottawa was good or bad or is horrible for the people who live there. I'm just saying it's complete overreach. And there should have been a bail. It went all the way up to a bail review in front of a judge to argue that the Justice of Peace made some errors and she should be released on bail. She spent considerable amount of time, first time she was arrested and now second time. And frankly, there was a legitimate argument made by the defense lawyer on the bail review that she might have spent so much time in custody now that would be the actual sentence if she was convicted. Mm-hmm. And so when I had said on Twitter that I thought that it was overreach and heavy-handed.
I just love that you're getting into Twitter now.
Yeah, I should.
It's such a dangerous
thing
to do.
It's so dangerous.
And it's like a time suck. And
it gets people who just I just wanted a reasonable argument as opposed to emotion. And I got just lambasted when I said it's overreach. And, when I was on Global AM 640 with John Oakley, who had a very good analysis of this, and he asked me, he goes, Joe, is there some political underpinnings to this? And I said, there has to be. The veracity with which the government was going to keep her in jail spoke to me about how the government wanted her in jail. This was politics.
And justified her position. You made a great point about that earlier, that if you're trying to say that I'm being silenced and my freedom is being infringed upon, if you're released on bail, you don't have much to argue about.
Yeah, so when she was released, finally, because I had said when I was making my comments, she's going to be released by the judge. It's going to happen. She walked out and there was a bit of a fanfare and a bit of a photo op and everything. And, if you want to make a good political move by the government, I'm no politician, but I'm not a moron. Don't feed into the narrative. Right. Because there is an underlying current in Canada, and it may be legitimate or not legitimate, about how some people in Canada feel that their liberties have been robbed from them. And this feeds into that narrative where a government overreaches to keep somebody in custody.
For nobody stormed
Parliament. Our political institutions are intact. Nothing, really bad happened to our government, right? So we're not talking about the extreme risk we have in many other cases in the criminal justice system. So I find the overreach to be a bad political statement. You feed into the narrative and you just support the idea that maybe our liberties are being eroded. I think they are in certain respects. I'm not necessarily aligning myself with this movement, and I'm not. But it's a bad political move. It was just dumb. And she should have got bail at the first instance. Let this play out in a trial.
There's no evidence she even knew that the co-accused was going to be at the event.
Even if she did, who cares?
I mean, it was stupid to take a picture.
It's not like they were planning, the Freedom Convoy 2.0.
Right.
Who cares? You shook hands. Okay, it's a breach. Charge her with the breaches. She's got to face the breach. It's a breach of court order. If she's convicted, she'll get jail. But we keep denying, holy shit, this was too much. And you feed into that narrative. So look, with all due respect, I just got to say this. One sec. We have a Conservative Party leadership race going on right now, okay? I'm not choosing anybody. But there's clearly a front runner who is feeding into and has a pulse of people who feel that our liberties are being eroded, right?
There's arguments that they are, but...
No, but do we not have a sense of that? Well, there are people in this country who vote. They're citizens. They feel this is happening, right? They have voices. We don't ignore them. What's great about Canada is that we listen, right? We don't necessarily dismiss or take polar opposites. We don't vilify. We're not supposed to do that. I don't like that.